What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my Week 17 top 25 for college basketball. But before we get into it, got to talk about who dropped from the rankings. Ole Miss, with a loss, they're falling from the rankings, and they're also in the others receiving votes, along with teams with UC San Diego, Arizona, VCU, and Creighton. 25 through 21, Kansas is hanging on by a thread after their ugly loss at BYU. And they responded well with a dominant win at home against Oklahoma State, but one more loss. They're out. Purdue, same thing. They've lost four in a row and they haven't been close games. So they just continue to fall. Mississippi State and Missouri both get credit for beating high-ranked teams, but then they respond both by going on the road and losing. I get it's the SEC and these teams beat up on each other, but they need to get that momentum where they can get that big win and then go in somewhere and beat them. But Missouri has an easier week this week. Mississippi State has to go back on the road, face Alabama. If they can get a win there, they're definitely moving up again. And then Marquette to cap it off. They're falling because they lost by 15 on the road at Villanova. It wasn't that bad of a game, but Marquette needs to win that game if this team wants to be a consistent team heading into March. 16 through 20, you get BYU here at 20. You get two dominant wins. You'd love to see that there for the Cougars out there in Utah, playing great basketball as they enter March. Louisville keeps on winning along with St. Mary's. St. Mary's is a team that keeps flying under the radar here because it's not Gonzaga in that West Coast Conference. And St. Mary's being so dominant, they're not getting as much love as Gonzaga would. Maryland, however, is getting a lot of love right now. They're playing great basketball, keep winning. Get Michigan State, great game early this week. And then Texas Tech, same thing. Big game against Houston, which they've lost, unfortunately, because I'm recording it after these games have taken place. But if they were to win that game, they could have been a top 10 team this week. 11 through 15, disappointment here is this slide, except Memphis. They just keep finding ways to win games and they keep moving up. But other than that, all these teams disappointing losses last week, especially Kentucky. I think they really had something to prove. If they could go into Alabama, get a win there, they could prove that they are looking on the up in the SEC, but they just can't get over the 500 hump. They get over it and then they fall right back down into it. And it's going to be the same thing probably again this week. Michigan loses to Michigan State. Then Monday, they beat Nebraska in the ugliest basketball game I've ever watched. And Michigan is a team that I think could be an Elite Eight team or a first round exit this year. Wisconsin, same goes for them. They can play well one game like they destroyed Illinois, then they lose at home to Oregon in OT. Wisconsin is one of those up and down teams, and lately Texas A&M didn't show up last week. And if they can go at Florida and win, I think they're going to put those critics to rest that it just was a bad week. 6 through 10. Now Tennessee stays obviously with their win over Texas A&M. St. John's keeps winning, so they're moving up along with Michigan State, two ranked wins over some good teams in the Big Ten to get sole possession of first place. And what do they get rewarded with? Two more ranked games this week. So Michigan State, the biggest 2 week span of their season is right now. Clemson, I think this team could be a Cinderella when it's all said and done. I know they're going to have probably five or higher seed, but Clemson isn't getting as much love as they should. They're a very good basketball team, only lost to Duke, and I can't remember who the other ACC team is, but it was an upset. And Clemson could be a team that I don't think too many people have going far in this year's March Madness, but a team to look out for. Then Iowa State played well against Colorado, lost on the road at Houston. They're falling two spots here, but if they can get two more wins this week, they'll be right back up there. And then at 1 and 5, I think all these teams can be 1 through 5 except Auburn. I think Auburn has the strong case for number one. And then after that, I think you can put any of these teams anywhere. Florida moves up because they kept going 2-0. Alabama moves down one after their loss to Missouri by giving up 110 points, but then they respond beating Kentucky at home. They get two more ranked opponents this week. Enough said there. They're just going to keep on winning in the ACC. Then Houston, as of right now, is my pick to win it all. They play great defense. They can score well. Same old Houston that they've had the last 3 or 4 years. Kelvin Sampson plays great defense. Their head coach coaches them to play great defense, and they can score enough to beat teams. But that's going to be it from our Week 17 rankings. Check back next week. It'll be March, and then we'll really get into all the March Madness stuff. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.